Schools should be a safe place for children, but time and time again, and with this latest shooting in Georgia, we are reminded that very often they are not. So how do you talk about this with your kids? Joining me now, we have Dr. Kat Lewitzke, a psychologist with Bright Pine Behavioral Health. Thanks so much for being on with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a very important topic. It's something that's at the forefront of so many parents' minds right now. What are the things you think are most crucial to really look at your kid, recognize signs, and know that if you need to have a deeper conversation here?
Yeah, well, first, I just want to say that my heart truly goes out to all the families and victims who have been affected by all of this. This is such an unfortunate situation that happened. I'm a psychologist, but I'm also a mom, first and foremost. And my daughter just had her preschool orientation earlier this week. And as a teacher was going through the curriculum, one of the things that she was covering was drills. So we think fire drills, tornado drills, and lockdown drills. We know lockdown drills is code for active shooter drills. And this is something that 30, 40 years ago that my parents and I didn't have to worry about. And now it's basically like in the forefront. Like we're always thinking about these because it's happening pretty often, right? Just in Novi, even last weekend as well. So things to sort of look at when you're thinking about this is that these types of experiences, even if you don't directly experience them yourself, you can still have secondary traumatic response or a vicarious traumatic response from them. So what that means is that you can still have like heightened anxiety, depression, irritability, restlessness, issues with sleep, or maybe even school refusal from your child as well. Now, kids don't usually come out and say, Mom, Dad, I'm scared. Mom, Dad, I'm anxious, right? They usually act out their emotions with behaviors. So parents need to really be aware of the type of behaviors that their child is exhibiting, such as that like irritability, maybe they're not sleeping, maybe they don't want to sleep alone anymore, maybe they don't want to go to school. All of these things, looking at any type of behavioral change that parents should really be concerned of.
That's so helpful, and I'm very appreciative you shared that personal experience with your daughter just entering preschool. Let's break that down a little bit more. Is there any impact on kids that young going through these shooter drills? I mean, did you sense any hesitation from other parents? Like, lockdown, he or she is so young. Why are we practicing this? Or is there just an understanding of it's a different time?
It was really just an understanding. I think that parents just recognize that this is the time that we're in, unfortunately. It's better to be safe than sorry, so you want to go through that. I don't really think that kids that young understand what they're for. It was when the teacher was describing it, you could just feel in the room, everyone's just kind of like, this is what we have to do, but you want your kids to be prepared, and I know that the teachers are going to prepare them. If that, you want your kids to be prepared for everything, right? But you also want to make it age appropriate. So when you're thinking about explaining situations to kids who are 6 and under, it's just about having an emphasis on simplicity, just breaking it down, keeping them safe. That should be the message, right? This is what we're doing, very concrete. When kids are older, you're thinking like elementary age and older, 7 to 12, like I have a son who's 6.5. But we're thinking kids a little bit older, 7 to 12 range. You want to have that conversation more about the facts that are happening, but keep out a lot of those graphic details that are also occurring. And then when kids are teenagers, we're thinking like late middle school, high school age, they're more able to have in-depth discussions surrounding that.
You talked about some of the signs to look out for and then when to have those conversations. What are some of the things parents can do to help their children process their emotions? Are there any good kind of opening conversation starters so you can assess their level of understanding and maybe what would be most beneficial for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Parents should really be emphasizing to create a safe space, first and foremost. So what that means is that being present for your child, putting down your phone, not scrolling, and just going back to those traditional family values of having dinner as a family. So once you're present with your child's gonna be more comfortable to open up to you. Have a place where emotions can be talked about in a comfortable way where you're not shutting them down. But once you're present for your child's gonna know confidently that they can trust you and have these conversations without being shut down. And then there are some techniques that we can do too, right? So of course you're gonna make it age appropriate, but some techniques you can have, like something that I do with my kids who are younger, and before they go to school, is that we make these, I'm wearing mine right now, like these little bracelets. So I have one for my son, one for my daughter. They make one, we wear them when they go to school. I say, hey, if you're feeling nervous when you're at school today, or you miss mom, or you miss dad, you can touch your bracelet and I'll touch mine too if I'm missing you throughout the day. And that helps them feel connected. They know that I'm present, and then they can think about me throughout the day and also feel safe and secure. Now, older kids, There's other techniques that you can do. So there's something called the stop technique to help you ground. So if a child is going to school and let's say they've been exposed to this through the media and they're aware of what's going on or what recently happened and they're scared to go back to school or scared to go out in certain places, the STOP technique, it's an acronym. So it's STOP, and the S is to literally stop and pause what you're doing in that moment. So you're feeling anxious, heightened arousal, nervous, you stop what you're doing. The T is to take a breath. So when you're taking a breath, you're taking 4 breaths in, holding for 2, and then exhaling out for 6 breaths at a time. I'm really getting a deep breathing in, using that belly breathing so that you're calming your central nervous system down. And then O is to observe what's happening, using your 5 senses to ground yourself, assess the situation. And then once you're finished, P, to proceed. So that once you're calm, your central nervous system's calmed down from the breathing, you're observing the situation, then you're able to proceed feeling confidently and securely.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Kat Lewitzke with Bright Pine Behavioral Health. We appreciate your insight.
Thank you.